Hello and welcome once again to Tales of Leadership Traits and Fails. Today I'm actually trying to look at something I would describe as a leadership error, and hopefully at the end of this video we'll be able to address that. So a couple of days ago I stumbled into a video, a recording by a distinguished senator of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. When I say distinguished, I really mean that, because the person I'm talking about is somebody I respect a lot, Senator Dino Melaye. It's one of the few senators, people like Dino, Shehu Sani, people I truly respect. And so when someone like that releases that kind of video, I think I see a need for one to try to right some of those errors. And, part of the leadership trait I hope he would show after seeing this video is to do one of three things that I'm going to suggest in the course of the video. And so I'll just quickly play the video to us, and then while it plays, if he raises any of those questions that he raised, I'll see how I can address some of those things. So please take a quick watch.
My name is Senator Dino Melaye. I am here to address Africans and indeed Nigerians on the COVID-19 vaccine. I am calling on all Africans, particularly Nigerians, not to accept the use of any vaccine for now. For 100 years, we couldn't find a vaccine for cancer.
To answer that question, I would first of all like to look at us to understand when we say cancer and vaccine, what exactly are we talking about? So when you say vaccine, you're talking about a technology or a treatment that tries to train your immune system, or if you prefer, the body police that is, trained or responsible for taking care of invaders, attacking and destroying invaders, foreign bodies like antigens, vaccines, virus, bacteria that come into the body to cause diseases. So basically what you do in a vaccine is you try to direct your immune system, to guide your immune system on the best way to attack certain antigens or invaders. Now, if we talk about cancer, we're talking about something that is not related to antigens or things that come from outside. It's your own body cells, the individual's body cells kind of misbehaving, they start mutating, start growing out of proportion. And so the science that tries to train your immune system to attack invaders is not exactly as straightforward when it comes to the issue of cancer. But that said, I must say that there are several vaccines that are effective for different cancers. There is the HPV virus vaccine, the human papillomavirus vaccine, that is very effective for cervical cancer. There is the hepatitis B vaccine that is also very, very effective for liver cancer. There's also the Trovan, an FDA-approved vaccine that is very effective for prostate cancer. So it's not exactly right to say no vaccine for cancer. Yes, what we may not have yet is a vaccine that prevents all cancers. Yes, we do not have that yet. But also comparing COVID-19 that has so far claimed 1.6 million lives and still counting across the world, to cancer that 30 to 50% of cancers can actually be prevented by simply, avoiding risk factors and sticking to, preventive measures. One can avoid 30 to 50% of cancer. So the comparison itself is not exactly accurate. And I think one of the reasons why we tend to play down on COVID-19 in Africa or in Nigeria is because the cases are not as high as what we see out here in the West. And there are several possible explanations. One, some people have said because the coronavirus family, they thrive more in cold places. The temperature in Nigeria and in most African countries is always very high. We're talking of countries where it gets as low as -5, -10, -20, and so on and so forth. So some people have tried to say, okay, it's because of the temperature. Some other people have said, countries where you still have malaria, people are still handling malaria. The fact that hydroxychloroquine has some effect on the virus might be responsible, but there's an explanation that makes the most sense to me, and that's what I've decided to stick to. So in these countries where we presently have these high cases, it's been shown that coronavirus gets more serious as it affects older people. So older people are more at risk than young people. And in fact, I have some data here that I would like to just read out quickly. So in the US, the life expectancy in the US, where we have the highest COVID case at the minute, is 79 years. So averagely, people should live like 79 years before they die in a place like US. In Brazil, where we seem to have the second highest case, life expectancy is around 76 years. In Mexico, 75 years. In the UK, 81 years. In Italy, 84 years. Now, in all of these countries that I've listed, we have high COVID cases. Now, guess what the life expectancy in Nigeria is? It's 55 years, or 55.75 years. What that means is that it's not really like COVID-19 doesn't exist in Nigeria. The thing is, between the ages of 50 and 59, you expect 1 in 1,000 deaths. So if you have 1,000 people infected at that age between 50 and 59 years, you expect 1 or less than 1 to die. Between the ages of 70 and 79, approximately 2 people would die in 1,000 people, in 1,000 cases. Between the ages of 80 and 89, about 7 people in 1,000 people would eventually die from COVID-19. And so in a country where the life expectancy is 55.75 years, what that means is before COVID comes, other things have killed people. So COVID barely sees anybody to kill. And that's not something we should be proud of. You shouldn't be proud of the fact that things that have stopped killing people in other parts of the world is still killing people in your own part of the world. So it's not like we're saying, okay, COVID doesn't affect people. It simply can't find people to kill anymore. But something we must also know, and why this video is a bit scary, is because more cases of young people dying of COVID-19 is being reported at the minute. So let's not say it's uhuru, because we don't have elderly people for COVID to kill. And so that is the first point he raised. Now listen to the second question he asked.
For over 40 years, we are yet to find any vaccine for HIV/AIDS.
Again, the development of vaccine to a large extent depends on the behavior of the virus in question. The HIV virus that is responsible for AIDS is a kind of smart one. In fact, it's said that it has a way of hiding. And so research is ongoing. And I also look at other factors why it's not fair to actually really compare them. But let's look at HIV itself and AIDS. The prevention of HIV is as simple as A, B, and C. So abstinence, being faithful, and using protection. With those 3 things, you can prevent HIV. Now, something else is people who presently live with AIDS live almost normal lives with the antiretroviral therapy. And so not exactly right to be comparing it to COVID-19 that has caused the world to shut down for almost half a year. I don't know if that makes any sense.
For over another 100 years, research has been going on finding a vaccine for diabetics. We are yet to find vaccine. Again,
coupled with the previous things I've said, diabetes is manageable. People who have diabetes, who use insulin shots, are living their lives. Comparing it to a disease where the period of infection to the period of death or recovery is 25 to 28 days. Again, I don't think it's exactly accurate or fair.
How is it possible on earth that in 1 year you found a vaccine for COVID-19?
To answer this question, we must again look at when we say COVID-19, what we're talking about, because to say the vaccine was developed in 1 year might not be exactly accurate. So COVID COVID-19 is actually short for coronavirus disease 2019. Now, that's the disease you develop when you get infected by a virus called the SARS-CoV-2, Severe Acute Respiratory Syndrome Coronavirus 2. Now, the family of virus, coronavirus, have been around for a while. In fact, it is said that the research on coronavirus has been existing for over 50 years. Remember the SARS, dreaded SARS of 2002? Yep, that's in the same family of the coronavirus. Remember the Middle East respiratory syndrome MERS of 2012? The same virus, the same family of virus. So yes, the SARS-CoV-2 is the unique one that causes COVID-19. That's the 2019 version of corona. That doesn't mean that the research just started. That's one point that we must make clear. The next point is the fact that this virus led to a shutdown, global shutdown, and economies were crashing and doing so badly. The response it got is unprecedented. Yes, it takes 10 to 15 years to develop vaccines. The fastest, I think, is the mumps vaccine that was developed in 4 years. But in this case, following the global meltdown and lockdown, there was a unique cooperation among scientists globally. Scientists were happy to share their data with other scientists all over the world. And the move was so fast that things were done in strange and in fast ways. Number two, the funding for this vaccine is also unprecedented. Now, I'll look at certain data that I've been able to gather. Now, the US government alone invested or gave to Pfizer $1.9 billion US. Aside that, the Operation Warp Speed, that's the special unit that was set up by the US government to make sure a vaccine comes out. They took kind of like financial liability such that companies were comfortable while they were trying out the vaccines, they could mass produce. So you are trying, knowing whether it is right or it would work or not, you're already producing in mass so that if it works, you are out and ready to go. The whole responsibility or the risk of that was on the US government through the Operation Warp Speed. Ladies and gentlemen, my brothers and sisters, when money is not a barrier, trust me, strange things are possible. Strange things can be done. As a researcher, I tell you the truth. The process involved in you even trying to get funding for certain research, cut that out. In this case, it's the money chasing you. And so all you need to do is just to, sit, think, and work. There was a global cooperation of teams working to get results. Apart from that investment by the US government, it's also reported that the European Commission pledged $8 billion for COVID-19 research. As at March, the UK government had spent £544 million. That's about 738 million USD on coronavirus research. So this is not a normal circumstance, and so it's not right for us to be comparing it to normal circumstances. And then the senator went on to say this, so please just listen to what he just said.
An intelligence gathering have revealed that some of those who took that vaccine died within 3 days. So I'm calling on African leaders not to allow any vaccine to be, or not to allow Africans to be used as guinea pigs by the developed nations for their satanic reasons. We say no to the application of any vaccine in Africa. We call on the Minister of Health of the Federal Republic of Nigeria to immediately discontinue his interactions with those who want to give us vaccine. It's a killer. We are not going to accept it, and we will hold the federal government responsible, the Minister of Health responsible, if any vaccine is applied on any Nigerian and there is a concomitant negative effect. God bless Africa. God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
Now, I would like to quickly address that. because there's some element of truth in that. Indeed, 6 people who were participating in the trial, the Pfizer vaccine trial, died in the course of the trial. And he didn't also add 4 people developed Bell's palsy, that's temporal facial paralysis, right? 4 people developed that. So what happens is when you're carrying out a trial, you have like a community of people that you're trying it out on. So half or a certain portion of the population would be given what is called a placebo, like something that is not really a vaccine, and that sounds like acts like a control where you get to see the effect. And then these people who are given the placebo, yes, they do not know that they've been given a placebo. They don't know if they got a placebo or they got the actual vaccine, and also their family members do not know. So to an extent, we have to rely on the reports of the researchers for that. But it's been shown that 4 of those people actually got the placebo and only 2 got the vaccine. And investigation has also shown that the death is not related to the vaccine. But let's even look at how many people were involved in the trials. There were over 44,000 people involved in the trial. So out of 44,000 people in the period of the trial, 6 people died. Is that beyond natural death? Nobody said the vaccine gives you immunity from natural death. It's a vaccine that is tried in terms of COVID-19, not vaccine for death. So if the senator said he has intelligence gathering, then the time has come for him to make that intelligence gathered public. But if it's this social media news that even my 6-year-old daughter knows about, he means by intelligence gathering, then that's just it gone. With the Oxford vaccine too, I think I had the one tried in Brazil. I had 1 person died too, but the scenario is similar. Investigation shows it's not related. Nobody said the vaccine is vaccine against death. It's vaccine for COVID-19. So if we as a country cannot be among the countries that would develop a vaccine, why not let's be among the country that busts the whole global conspiracy? Dino should come out and tell us the intelligence he has gathered so that the world will know that yes, the West is trying to use us as guinea pigs. People who participated in trials, a lot of them, I saw a video of the lady who took took part in the UK trials, who is living a good life, following the social media's rumor that she's dead. She's alive. So, in my opinion, calling on Africans and Nigerians to reject the vaccine, a vaccine that most likely we're not even going to have money to buy, except people like Bill Gates and other countries come together and buy and give to us like they've been doing with every other thing. Sometimes I just sit back and wonder how Bill Gates would feel when he watches the telly and he sees people who he spends so much billions, trillions of USD trying to help, saying things like he's trying to take over the world, he's trying to plant chips in their body so he can take over the world. Those conspiracies that people are just trading around. Do you know what it means to be the richest man in the world for as long as Bill Gates was? You have the money to buy countries if it's power you want. So when you start asking questions, okay, why does he want to have power? Why? It just gets to a point where the whole thing doesn't make sense. But that's not the point. Now, this statement or this thing is very important because it looks like the senator has forgotten the recent history of how 5 states in northern Nigeria accounted for 51% of the global polio case in 2006. It started with things like this. So religious leaders in Kano, Kaduna, and Zamfara came out and said has been adulterated with HIV/AIDS and all manner of things meant to reduce fertility and stuff. And people stopped taking the vaccine. And so while the world was defeating polio, Nigeria was still the capital of polio at that time because of rumors like this. In fact, I have here a statement of one of the religious leaders at that time where he said that's the then leader of the prominent Muslim group, the Supreme Council for Sharia in Nigeria, Dati Ahmed. He was quoted as saying that the polio vaccine are corrupted and tainted by evildoers from America and their Western allies. Hitlers have deliberately adulterated the okay, not just Hitler, I say, believe that modern day Hitlers have deliberately adulterated the oral polio vaccine with anti-fertility drugs and virus which are known to cause HIV and AIDS. Of course, you and I know that all these things turned out to be lies and rumors. This, as at the time he was saying this, the damage they had other Islamic scholars who were saying this was wrong, but the damage had been done at that time already. So there was a prominent Islamic scholar to Sheikh Yusuf al-Qaradawi who said, in fact, I was completely astonished about the attitude of our fellow scholars of Kano towards the polio vaccine. I disapprove of their position, for the lawfulness of such vaccine in the point of view of Islam is as clear as sunlight. He added that this polio vaccine has been effective in over 50 Islamic countries. And so the whole thing turned out to be unfounded. So, except the senator actually has intelligence, like he has said, which we beg him to make public, so that we at least will be the country that saves the world from becoming guinea pigs in the hands of the West, then he has to, second option will be to take back what he has just said. There's a third option that I'm going to come to, but I must also, in all fairness, say the name Pfizer would actually raise some scare in Nigeria, because Pfizer has a history in Nigeria. So the Trovan trial of 2006, where they tried drugs on, they carried out trials on 200 children in Nigeria, 5 of whom later died, and the case lingered in court for a while. That, to an extent, would make Nigerians a bit wary when it comes to Pfizer. But what the senator needs to do, which is the third option, in my opinion, is he has the money to sponsor a trial. Let's do our own research and see if this vaccine is safe for us or not. I mean, the UK government approved it. Canada did not just go and say, oh, UK has approved it, our allies have approved it, let's go take. No, they carried out their own investigation to see that it was right before they approved it. Same goes with the US. Weeks after the UK had started using the vaccine, the US was still checking to see that it is fit for use. So instead of calling on the world and on Africa and Nigerians not to take something that we would have to wait for the West to help us to get, why not sell some of these your expensive cars and sponsor a research to see if it is safe for use or not? Or maybe you're a very vocal senator. Why not just, put pressure on the government to make sure that intensive research is done to see that this vaccine is fit for use before we go on to use it, rather than calling on the world to on Nigerian and Africans to reject the vaccine. So one of three options. One is either you just be the responsible you that you've always been, come out and say, oh, sorry, I was ill-informed, and so I'm sorry for those things I said. Or two, you expose whatever conspiracy, global conspiracy, because when we talk about conspiracy sometimes, I actually wonder, have you tried to keep a secret among, say, 5 friends? And how difficult it is to keep a secret among 5 friends. And so when people go about talking about a global conspiracy, the whole world conspiring, and this information never goes out, it sounds really funny to me. On the Pfizer team alone, you have people from different countries on the world, of the world. And so everybody will conspire and they will keep the secret within themselves and say everything is a lie. So if you have intel, which of course is possible, I'm not ruling that out, why not make it public? Let's be the country that exposes the West for their evil plans. If we cannot, of course, develop a vaccine. Or number 3, sponsor a research. Or team up with some of your millionaire friends. We have scientists all over the world, Nigerian scientists who are capable of doing this thing. Fund it, and let's do a serious trial and check to be sure that this vaccine is fit for us, so that when it eventually gets to us, we'll be able to benefit from it. And let's stop hiding in the fact that the cases have been very low in Nigeria. We're not praying that we get more cases in Nigeria, but some of these explanations I've given might be the reason why we have lower cases. But that doesn't mean that people are not dying in the world. Some of us here have met people who have lost loved ones, people whose lives have changed completely because of the COVID-19. And so going out and making statements that makes it look like there's nothing like COVID-19, for me, would be very disrespectful of the people we have lost and those who have lost loved ones. And so we should be mindful of the kind of comments we make. So that's my mind about my longest mind on anything ever. And I just had to let that out. And please remember to subscribe to our channel, click on the notification bell, like, and just subscribe, basically that's what I'm saying. And I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Thank you for watching till the end. I truly appreciate. See you. Merry Christmas, by the way.